Okay, I'm now ready to talk to you all about my initial reactions to Cobra Kai season 3. And the reason why I have to say that is because I was so upset at the end of season 3. Like, I was literally like, shoot Kreese. Shoot Kreese now. I really, man, hate that character so much. And I've watched Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. I watched the next Karate Kid with Hilary Swank and Mr. Miyagi's, Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi. Obviously, Kreese is not in that movie, but man, you really gain a hatred, in my opinion, for Kreese because he's so he's so irredeemable, and I think that the show's really pushing this theme of forgiveness, forgive your enemies, love your enemies, kind of thing. Show mercy instead of no mercy, and it's crazy because this season they like literally shouted no mercy like a lot. Specifically, the female antagonist for Sam and Tori, right? She was like no mercy like a lot of times. And I was going back actually like the next day and I rewatched like half of season 1, and actually Aisha, who's sadly not in this season, shouted no mercy. I think she was one of the first non Johnny Lawrence characters to shout no mercy when Miguel had his first fight against Kyler and his boys in the lunchroom, which was again such an epic fight. I love season 1. I love Miguel's first win, first victory. I love seeing Robbie's first victory fight, and it's crazy. It's crazy, like the world building and what they can do. Like there's so many things that they can do in season 4, but when it comes to season 3, man, they had some great comedic dialogue lines. The prison scene with Johnny and LaRusso interrogating the two thugs from season 1, that was awesome. And I really thought that there might be some kind of some kind of link to those two thugs, to maybe a person that they're working for that's on the higher up. We'll see. We'll see if Terry Silver is that guy. But that was funny. I think Kyler was like bringing Kyler back and having him really as like a more main character. That was wild because man, Kyler was you don't like Kyler, but the actor plays him so well. And man, when he has that line that y'all know what I'm talking about, where I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. If I don't pass trig, my dad's gonna poop in my mouth. Like, and obviously he says the other word, but man, that had me rolling. All right, so let's get into it. I'm gonna keep this short. I could talk like all day about this, but I was really, like I said, really angry at Kreese. I really think that at some point someone just has to shoot that man, and I was just so mad because it's like Sam, Daddy, like no, Larusso, just go through with it, man. Lawrence gave the nod. Kreese is not turning back. He's irredeemable. Just give him the final death blow, man. He was gonna shiv you. He attacked your daughter. He probably would have attacked your wife if given the chance. Um, yeah, Mrs. LaRusso, she's gotta be careful. She shouldn't be going into that lion's den. I was really worried for her. That show could have turned real dark if Kreese was like even a worse human being than he already is. But it's crazy now because the solution has presented itself. LaRusso and Lawrence were always supposed to work together. I think if we were to go back, if we could talk to Mr. Miyagi, I think when you see what happens in Karate Kid 1, where at least now Daniel can defend himself, and then but then at the beginning of part 2, Karate Kid part 2, then Miyagi defends Johnny Lawrence and the Cobra Kai boys and talks about no bad student, just bad teacher. And then you ultimately see that in Chosen, which he had an amazing comeback in this season. And I think ultimately they kind of went away from that. They kind of gave Daniel another Johnny Lawrence kind of story, you know, um, where he had to face another thing. Like it's more complicated than that. But I was surprised that maybe this is what Mr. Miyagi had in mind all the time, was for Daniel LaRusso to realize that to really spread real peace was not to just defeat your enemy, really was to bring your enemy into some kind of compassionate relationship and make the enemy, or not make, but have the enemy become a friend, and that will stop everything. And so I just love that, that last sequence at the end of season 3 where, Miyagi-Do's doing their thing, but then Eagle Fang shows up, and then Giant Lawrence shows up, and they are now co-teachers of this like hodgepodge group of martial arts or karate students. And I think that was beautiful. That was really, really beautiful. The music was perfect for that scene. They didn't really have to say anything to each other besides what they said to their students, and it was perfect. It was beautiful. And I actually want to also talk about the idea here that I'm glad for Allie and her character showing up. I didn't think she would have any real purpose, but she actually did, which was really great to see. And her kind of sitting the boys down and realizing, hey, it's just kid stuff. Like, don't hold on to it. I think it's a real lesson for a lot of us who may be holding on to things from the past. Obviously, like, you don't want to allow yourself to be abused again, but it's more in the sense of like, okay, now let's maybe move forward so we can have like peace, at least for the children. I just really like that a lot. Now, I guess to start wrapping this up, I guess a lot of people have, already chatted about the idea that, oh, it's so great to have the backstory for Kreese. I kind of understand him now. And it's like, oh, man, I don't feel bad for Kreese at all. You could show me a dozen backstory shows. And I mean, I'm not saying it was bad that they included. I think it added real depth to the show. It added, like, again, the origin, because we really learned more about the origin of Miyagi-Do when, LaRusso visited Okinawa, and, all the characters that were there. That was really beautiful. But we also got to see the origin of Cobra Kai and Terry Silver and Kreese's relationship, where Kreese kind of turned from this good guy. Because for a second, I thought, man, he's going to be a good guy the whole time. He's going to be we're going to see him as a war hero, and we're going to feel real terrible about wanting to get rid of him. No, he did turn finally. He became the Kreese that we know and we hate. And I'm so done with that character. I can't believe that's the only thing I will say is, like, he's right there. Call the police or do something. And it's like, no, we'll set it like the old days with a karate tournament. Like, no, everything has to be solved by a karate tournament. And then obviously what happens with Robbie, like Robbie goes with Kreese and really cuts the relationship off between his father and his like karate father, his Mr. Miyagi. And Robbie is such a very interesting character. But I think Robbie versus Miguel, those two are very interesting. Oh, one more thing too. When at the end scene for LaRusso and Lawrence, I really got this awesome vibe of like Ryu and Ken, right? And Kreese is Akuma. And Ryu and Ken are like finally working more together to take down Akuma. I don't know. I just really loved that end scene. Was so good. But my final, I guess, more grievance, it's not like a bad thing. I understand why it's there. It adds a lot of drama, which I love. But Sam is like so powerful in a sense of her influence over people. Like I mentioned earlier with her like calling out to dad, her dad, like daddy, like, or dad or something, like, and Russo didn't want to kill somebody in front of his daughter. I get that. But, he literally sent his students to your own home, and Tori was going to murder. That's what's so crazy about this show. Like, it's good enough for your family to watch certain points, but it's also like really bleak. Like if it were to go a Game of Thrones route. Right? It like gets to the cusp. It does such a good job of getting right to the cusp of it. Tori was going to eliminate from the plane of existence Sam. That's nuts. It's crazy. And I don't know, I just want to let Kreese go. But also Sam is so powerful with her influence over Robbie and over Miguel. Like it took like 5 seconds for Miguel and Sam to just like start giving them Google eyes and and kissing. Like Sam is so, she's very aggressive with her sexuality. Again, I'm not hating. I'm just like, man, I don't know. If she was my daughter, I'd just be like, I love you, daughter. I was gonna say bro, but like, please, like maybe wait, like maybe, because she's the only one that Robbie was gonna sit down with and listen to after Johnny missed his prison appointment. And it sucks for Johnny because he literally loves his son so much, but stuff always comes up. And then when he does show up, then Robbie kind of, like I went back to season 1 and like Johnny shows up and says like, hey, have him move in with me. And that literally almost happened in season 2. And then Robbie kicks Miguel over the thing, and then Robbie runs off. Like Robbie blames Johnny for not coming after him, even though Johnny did. But Robbie never went to Johnny and said, hey, help me, help me hide. I'm sure Johnny would have been like, hey, let's blow this popsicle stand. I'll just get you out of here, man. Johnny would have done anything for Robbie, and Robbie continues to run from him. But again, Johnny also missed like the first 15 years of his life. I don't understand how you do that. Like, man, that's crazy. Like, you have a kid, you just bounce for 15 years and then expect to like show up. But and Robbie's just perfect. He's perfect. He's so complicated, but he has such a good heart. Like, again, rewatching season 1, he has such a good heart. But he's been let down so much. His heart now has become so hardened and so cold that not even like Miyagi-Do can reach him. And Sam can't reach him because Sam keeps kissing on boys. She's too powerful. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Megan. And if you want to join, we are at patreon.com/mustycreative.